Hi everyone, myself Altaf Hussain Shah. I am a software developer currently residing in Bangalore. In this guest lecture, on the behalf of Mr. Wasim Ahmed, a vocational trainer at High School Patanatir, under the ITRC technologies, I will conduct this guest lecture on a computer network security. So before starting the actual presentation of computer network security, I want to tell you something about myself. I completed my master's from Baba Ghulam Shah Badshah University, Rajouri in 2015, and in the last finals project semester I went to Chandigarh through NSDC, and there I completed my project work. I learned a lot there, and then after that I came back into my home state for the preparing of a government exam. Unfortunately, after giving a lot of tries on that exams, I didn't got any job here. So I thought I have to go with my respective field of computer science. Then I decided to go to Bangalore. I went there and I started trying for many jobs. I gave so many interviews, and after a long process, I finally got a job there. So now I'm working as a software developer there, and apart from that I'm also working as a part-time for a structural engineering firm. I'm providing the technical support and the website management, and of course the both my part-time and my full-time job, I'm earning around 12 to 15 lakhs annually. So through ITRC technologies, you got a really great opportunity to learn about the technology. I wish I had this kind of facilities during the early stage of my schooling. So you got great opportunity. So use your time and learn from Mr. Wasim Ahmed. I saw his video lectures, so it is a great opportunity for you to learn. So it is just enough for now. Now I will start about the computer network security. I will teach you here. So let's get started. Okay, so now we are starting about the computer security. There will be question in your mind, what is computer security? Computer security simply is when you are protecting your information from unauthorized access and from against the attack of pirated attacks of various kinds. I will teach you later about this. There are two types of computer security generally, the internal security and external security. Let me give you an analogy here. Internal security is what? When you are protecting your system internally through various processes. Like here I showed here the user authentication, when you're giving some passwords to your computer and then you are accessing the computer. Leave the computer some time and imagine you are using a Android smartphone, and when you power on that pop-up open, and there you have to put a password there, and you are putting the correct password, and then they are accessing you in, and they're taking you in your actual UI of the Android. So similarly, like this, we are providing a user authentication to the computer when you are putting password into it, and then the computer give you an access. And the same time, this is for user authentication for computer, but it can be anything. Like you are using any social media, so there you need a user authentication. They are asking for username and password, and many other websites are where they are asking for the usernames about everything. Maybe you use that now many times. So the second thing is access control. This also came out of the internal security parameter. What is access control? Access control is, if you're using a computer, so computer is you have only access on that computer. No third party can gain access on your computer. You simply power on the computer, then you will give a password, then the computer will take you in the actual UI of the computer. So this is access control. And the third thing is cryptography. What is cryptography? The basic and simple definition of cryptography, when you are providing an information in non-readable format. Like for example, you are sending some information to a person via internet, So you are generally decoding or encoding that information into a non-readable format, so you can prevent your information from unauthorized access of hackers and sometimes the pirated website which are already programmed to access that information. So this is about internal security. There will be question about external security. What is I told you about the difference, the basic difference between the internal security and external security. What is internal security? When you are taking care of the internal parameter of the computer, the inside of your display. But the external security is the outside environment. Like there are so many computers in a building, but generally there's some disaster or pandemic came there. There's a flood, earthquake, and various type of destruction that came into a structure, because we are generally enclosed with the environmental factors which actually affect our daily life. So to prevent a computer from the external resources, the external effects of the environment, I told you about flood, earthquake, so what we can do at that time. So to generally to prevent that, if your information is really important, I'm not talking about just some computers of your own that you're using, that is an individual basis. But what if I will talk about an organization which is dealing with a lot of work, and that information is quite important, and there are about 100 systems installed at that building. So to prevent your system and to save your information, what parameters you are giving to protect your computer, that is the external security. And there will be question in your mind now, why we need security? Of course, the obvious question is, we are going to save our computer and we want to store our important information. That's why we need security. So it is not that just we are dealing with only individual computers where there's a small information of your personal, like photos and videos and your other data of application softwares. But what if I will talk about some when you will deal with financial and personal data, like banking system, like a company which is dealing with the insurances and everything, where a money involved in system, there we need a security. Because in 20th century, especially in last decade, the computer technology developed a lot, and pirated attacks and voices and hackers came into existence in the last decade. So it is really important to provide security, internal and both external security. This is just a simple explanation of internal and external security, and it is extremely important. So now I will tell you about some examples of security mechanism, how we are providing that. The first thing is the user ID. To accessing any website or any system or any parameters of a computer, you have to put a specific name of a user ID. What is user ID? If thousands of people will register on a website, so every time they will register, for every individual, website will provide a unique username that is called ID in a simple language I'm teaching. And that is the second thing is password. Imagine you are accessing your on Facebook page, on your Facebook account, and then pop-up will be open on a Facebook in the starting page I'm talking about. So there will be a username, especially they're asking about the email address, but both are quite similar. Sometimes they are asking for user ID and sometimes they're asking for email. So there you have to put your user ID, and below that user ID there will space for password, so they are asking for password. So these are the some example of security mechanism, how we are providing giving some security parameter to a specific a computer or any social media account. I'm using a simple taking an example of social media to make you understand about this topic. So the third thing is we can encode data in database. So after that, to prevent and protect our information and to protect our valuable and authentic and information, so they are generally viruses. What is virus? Virus, there is a small full form here you can read, but generally if I will tell you what is a virus. Virus is a type of disease, or you can say a pandemic. If it will enter in your computer, it can destruct your information, it can steal your information, it can manipulate the programs, and it can create various type of problems in your computer. It can slow down your computer. Or imagine if you're using a smartphone, Android smartphone, so then you are going and on a websites which has no much security, and they are just inviting you to come here and see their personal data. But with that you are going target of those websites. They will put some viruses and some programs in your smartphone, so every time when you will use, you will see some ads and some other data which you don't want to see. Some ads, pop-up ads which you don't want to see, but it is generally slowing down your smartphone. So this is virus, and the same come under the computer. If you're using a computer, so virus can come through a various websites. If you're using internet, so virus can come. So what is the need? Why the virus is so important to take into in a focus to prevent our computer? Because when we are using computer, so virus can enter from our computer. It is, you can take it as a disease. This disease enter in our computer, and it can make our computer slow down, and it can distract a long time. I'm using just simple language, but simple explanation of this. But imagine if there's so many computers so there, and you are working on quite important, their financial data stored there, or some important data stored there. So if this data will go out under some hands which you don't want, so to protect that we need network computer security. But we are talking about the computer virus. So it is in a technical language, it is a software program that is working same like a biological virus. Like now a pandemic is going on, you can relate it with that too. So so the second thing about virus is, when a virus will enter in your computer, it will never tell you that I am just coming in. It will come in your computer without asking any permission. You will not understand about when the virus came and when it will go out. So it is just uncertain and mishappening that can occur with your computer or security. So it can spread. It is not just it will enter in your computer every time when you will connect some external devices with your computer. So a virus can spread from one computer to another, or from one computer to another device. It can be anything, your pen drive, your smartphone, whatever you are connecting with your computer. So how it comes from? As I told you, it can, if you are using a pen drive which is being used in another computer, in that computer the virus already be there. So you use that pen drive or CD, DVD, or whatever you input, the virus came. It can come from internet when you are accessing the websites which are not authorized by internet protocols. So then you're using that like for various purposes. I'm not talking specifically. It can come from lanes, etc. So what is the symptom of virus? How can you know about that when the virus come into your computer? Generally the basic fundamental we are talking about is, when you are opening a computer, it can slow down your computer. You will open a program and it will take a lot of time, and sometimes in general a specific individual who is just using internet and doing some normal work on a Microsoft Office and some other software, so generally he will not receive that kind of viruses which can steal information. But generally on a large basis, when we are talking about firms or websites where they are providing security, so their virus can come and they can steal information. So how can we know about that? When we will realize that a virus came in our computer? I told you computer will be slow. It will take a long time for a program to execute. Sometimes it will stop working. The size of program and system of a file keep changing, and sometimes it will slow down and reduce the memory. It is not that it will affect on your hard drive or SSD, just for a specific program or file you open with that you stored in there. So these are some symptoms of virus. So after that, some more you can take into account that your hard disk run out of space. Sometimes your files will appear in a strange name, in a like a coding. Sometimes you will put your hard disk, or you want to attach some external devices, but your computer is not accepting at all. Sometimes your computer is not booting up. Sometimes some noise are coming out from keyboard. Listen, virus is something which can take your computer in a next level of harmness. Imagine you are using a computer and suddenly it stopped. Some noises came out from keyboard, or you cannot execute your file. So there will be these things, thoughts will come in your mind that maybe something happened with my computer. But everybody don't have that kind of knowledge about the viruses and these pirated software. Sometimes you are installing some pirated software which are only being programmed and made to put their data program into a computer so they can steal your information. That's the simple language, the simply in a simplicity I taught you. So the next thing is what kind of we know about viruses, we know about that how it's came into and what is the effect on our personal computers or many systems. But to know about the names, if someone will ask you about you can tell about some virus, what kind of virus in our computer. So there are various categories of viruses based on their intensity of harmness and their intensity, how powerful they are, so what kind of access they can get in your computer. Because for this, so we generally categorizing into a different names like boot sector, Trojan horse, macro, worm, spyware. There's so many. This Trojan horse was the most dangerous virus ever. It came from Middle East, so they made it, and there's a long story behind that. So these are some viruses I showed in your screen. So thanks for your valuable time here. I hope you understood everything what I taught. I tried my best to explain this as simple as possible. So thank you everyone, and hope we meet in the next lecture soon.